When you travel, what's the most important factor you need to account for? In my opinion, it's transportation. My name is Katya Mollinedo, and today I'm going to be telling you about my trip to Paris, France. I took this trip on December 28th, 2019, and I was 17 years old. My mom and I were traveling alone, and one of the modes of transportation that we were planning to take was the metro. I am a bit of a train enthusiast myself. But when we landed in Paris, we come to find that the city was currently experiencing a metro strike. The reason for our trip was a bit unusual in itself. My mom had decided that she wanted to take her dream trip after finally divorcing my dad. And her most sought after trip was a trip to Paris. We wanted to experience all of the common tourist attractions such as the Louvre, the Arc de Triomphe, les Champs-Élysées, and especially the Notre Dame. While we were traveling, even though the metros were down and the strike was happening, luckily the city provided the buses free of charge while we were getting around. This was actually honestly a very pleasant change because in the metro it is underground, so you wouldn't have experienced as much as we did traveling by bus. We got to see much more during the journey. But when we got off the bus, it was a bit more eye-opening, a lot more shocking. Traveling through the streets, there were protesters around most of the tourist attractions. One of my most vivid memories is of us walking down the street watching the Notre Dame. It was just after the devastating fire that had happened, so there was a lot of scaffolding on the sides of the church. But we were walking past, and some officers were heading towards the protesters, and they were heavily armed. They were carrying assault rifles with them, and it was the first time that I, as a 17-year-old who was fairly sheltered, saw a officer that heavily armed in public. It was definitely an eye-opening experiencing, very impactful for me. It made me realize that one of the most important things that we should never take for granted are our public service workers. They do not get enough credit where credit is due. They keep our city moving, and it is very important as an American to me that we are able to use our freedom of speech and our right to protest. So to see the Parisians not be able to have their voices heard, it was something that stays with me to this day. Thank you.